What is going on, everyone? Fernando Silva here with another video, and I'm coming to you with some sad news, and hopefully it's just speculation, but it turns out that we might have to go out and buy a brand new $350 Magic Keyboard for the new 2021 iPad Pro because the 2021 iPad Pro is 0.5mm thicker and won't work with the current Magic Keyboard that is only a year old. Let's talk about it. So as most people that follow this community know, Apple had their spring-loaded event on 4/20 and they released their M1 iPad Pros, right? And those M1 iPad Pros, they, from a hardware perspective, seem awesome. And I'll have videos kind of going over everything. I'll link them in the description and up here if you guys want to check them out. But alongside of those M1 iPad Pros, through the B-roll and through some of the cinematography they were showing, they had people using the iPad Pro with a white Magic Keyboard, right? And that white Magic Keyboard looked awesome. At least at first glance, it looked very cool. With the iPad on it, it had that Stormtrooper look with the white and the black colors from the iPad. So overall, it looked great. So my initial thought was, that looks awesome. I already have my Magic Keyboard from a year ago, so I'm probably not gonna get that one. And I know that white one will probably get very dirty very quickly, so it'll only be white the second you pull it out of the box, and from then on, it's just gonna get dirtier and dirtier. So that was my initial reaction. I thought it was cool. Thank you, Apple, for giving us some variety and colors with that Magic Keyboard, and I didn't think twice about it. But then 24 hours go by and I see this post from The Verge on Twitter about the old Magic Keyboards not working with this new 2021 iPad Pro. And I thought to myself, this was my worst fear. How many times did I mention in videos that I really hope Apple doesn't create a different form factor so we didn't have to go out and spend another $350 on a Magic Keyboard? So when I saw the new iPad be released, at the glance or whatever I was watching, it looked like the same exact form factor as the 2020 iPad Pro. And to an extent it is. And on the Apple website, the iPad Pro is 0.5mm thicker. So think about how small that is. That is 1/20th of a centimeter, right? That is a tiny amount for it to be thicker, right? Or for it to be, considered even thicker at that point, right? So 0.5mm thicker, I thought no big deal, whatever, it'll still work fine. And the main reason I was okay with the extra thickness, A, is because it wasn't that much, and B, usually I'm a big proponent of add a little more thickness if it means I get more features, right? And for this instance, I think it was a combination of a little bit bigger battery to support that bigger, more powerful mini LED display on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. But lo and behold, according to the news from The Verge, that 0.5mm extra thickness from that iPad Pro, and again, this is only for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Keep that in mind, not the 11-inch, not the new 11-inch one, just the 12.9 with the mini LED display. So that extra thickness warranted Apple to create a quote-unquote new Magic Keyboard. So I've heard reports that the new 2021 iPad Pro will physically work with the Magic Keyboard, the old one quote-unquote, but you can't close it. So it'll connect and it'll work and it'll dock, but if you want to close it, it's that extra thickness is not going to let it fully close. Which again, I cannot believe Apple's going to put the consumer through this, and it's still a little too hard to believe, and I'm hoping Apple doesn't make us get new iPad Pros or new Magic Keyboards for the new iPad Pros. So after I saw all this and started reading the news and things like that, I actually decided to text Apple support. And I usually text Apple support whenever I need anything, and honestly, Apple support via iMessage is very, very good. They're very responsive, they get you your help that you need. So I figured, hey, let me ask Apple support if they've heard this rumor, right? So I asked Apple support, and then they sent me this long message saying like, hey, we can't definitively tell you because the product isn't out yet, so it would be wrong to say anything. So they just sent me a link to the new Magic Keyboard to look at and see the compatibility and to stay up to date with things like that. So I went to the website, right? I clicked on that link and I noticed that the old Magic Keyboard for Gen 3 and Gen 4 for the iPad Pros wasn't on Apple's store anymore. They only had the folio case for the older generation iPads for, the 10.2 and the older iPad Airs and things like that. They had the Slim Folio, which is a trackpad-less iPad Pro case, and then they had the new Magic Keyboard, which is compatible with iPads Gen 3 through 5, right? So again, the older Gen 3 through 4 Magic Keyboard is no longer being produced by Apple and sold by Apple, which is terrifying me. So basically what I'm thinking is that the new Magic Keyboard is going to be compatible with up to the 2018 iPad Pro, which is great, I guess, if you don't have a Magic Keyboard yet and you still have the 2018 iPad Pro and you want to be able to use it and things like that. So it'll still work with that one, but what about the users that already have Magic Keyboards? The users that a year ago spent $350 on that Magic Keyboard because it was a wonderful device, and it still is my favorite accessory I've ever purchased from Apple, but it's just very, very sad to see this happen. So from all the news that I've seen, all the news that I've heard, and all the research that I've done, it's not looking good. it seems to be that this extra thickness on the larger 12.9-inch iPad Pro is going to be enough to warrant a Magic Keyboard purchase. Because again, that Magic Keyboard is going to be identical, except it'll probably allow a little bit more thickness for the iPad Pro. But at the same time, I do have a tiny bit of hope. And hear me out. The hope that I have right now is I use a Pitaka case on the iPad Pro on occasion, and that Pitaka case is 0.7 millimeters thick. So on its own, it's very, very thin. And that case is compatible with the Magic Keyboard because it has a 3-pin connector. So you can use the case, slap that iPad Pro with the case on the Magic Keyboard, and that still closes flush. So that is 0.7 millimeters of extra thickness. So I'm hoping that I can still get the 2021 iPad Pro and use the older Magic Keyboard with that iPad Pro, because I've kind of, I guess, tested it with the extra thickness with that Pitaka case on the iPad Pro. So overall, this is a nightmare. I really hope that the extra thickness doesn't change like every accessory that you need to get. Like, how is it possible that, I bet you all the accessories that you currently have for your 12.9-inch iPad Pro from 2018 and 2020 that doesn't have an Apple logo on it will work with the 2021 iPad Pro. But for some reason, Apple's gonna tell us that their Magic Keyboard, you're gonna basically need to buy a new one. And it would be okay if they let me trade it in. For instance, I'm gonna get about $550 for my 2018 iPad Pro if I trade it in for the new one, but I can't trade in the Magic Keyboard because it's an accessory. So what am I'm stuck with a Magic Keyboard. I guess I could sell it, but I've used it for a year. So I mean, I'm not gonna get the same amount of value. So all in all, it's a loss if Apple's gonna make us go through this. Fingers crossed that you don't have to. Maybe Apple will recommend it, but the 2021 iPad Pro will still work and still close with the Magic Keyboard with the older one. Because again, Apple doing this is not a good move. I really don't like it, and I guess they can do whatever they want because it's their ecosystem. I'm fully engulfed in it with every single product that you can see, and I guess maybe at some point I'll end up having to get it, but again, I'm very disappointed in the situation. But that's pretty much it, everybody. I just kind of wanted to rant a little bit, give my opinions on this whole situation, and then also kind of show you where I got my research from. And then also show that little, me going undercover at the Apple Store, kind of asking some questions. But like I said, comment below. Are you guys upset with this? What do you guys think is actually going to happen? Do you think Apple would actually go through something like this and make people that already have a Magic Keyboard, which a year ago was the greatest thing Apple made, and they're already making you replace it a year later with another $350 and not compensating you for the older one? I don't know. I think it just seems a little bit un-Apple-y. That seems like a little bit too much to me. But let me know in the comments below. I mean, the white color is exciting. It looks cool. The new iPad Pro, when the software matches all that new hardware, it's going to be awesome. So, be on the lookout for WWDC. Let me know if you guys are going to get the new 2021 iPad Pro or why you're not going to get it and things like that. Always curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, peace.